So the NHL has been talking about expanding, and places such as Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Quebec City seem to get brought up a lot. But there's one place that hasn't been brought up enough, and it just makes so much sense for the NHL to expand there, and that is of course Hawaii. Yes, we are going to expand the NHL and we're bringing a team to Hawaii because obviously that makes the most amount of sense. A team in Hawaii just makes sense. Like, imagine the logistics of having a team in Hawaii. Obviously that wouldn't cause a problem with travel. That wouldn't be a problem whatsoever. They would find a way to make it work out. But Hawaii, welcome to the NHL. We're bringing in the Hawaii Tiki, and over the next 10 seasons we're going to be turning them into a powerhouse and maybe even a potential dynasty. However, it's not just going to be as simple as me going through all of these teams and selecting the players I want. Nope, we're going to trust the CPU, and we're going to trust that they don't make terrible decisions here. And you know what? I can't really complain with what they've done here. John Gibson's a decent pickup. Sam Bennett, Drew Doughty, Gustafson. We got Cam Fowler from the St. Louis Blues. You know what? This team isn't looking too bad. We got Brock Nelson as well. I think we can work with this, especially since we got stick on the ice legend Will Borgren. What do you know about Will Borgren? He's going to be a difference maker. So we already got ourselves a pretty solid team from the expansion draft. We're going to jump right into the draft here, and we're going to pray that there's a franchise potential player projected number 1 that we can somehow trade for. Now, I don't think there's going to be a franchise potential player, but what do I know? There's a franchise potential player in this draft. We are getting the first overall pick. I don't know what it's going to cost us, but it's going to start with the third overall pick and a little bit more. So I'll send you the third overall pick. Drew Doughty, can I send you over? You're going to say no. Sam Bennett, I don't necessarily want to trade you away, but if I have to, I will. We'll start with Jason Zucker though, and then maybe even Darren Radish. Hopefully that this is going to be enough right here. We would have to take on somebody's contract. We technically don't have to take on somebody's contract. We just need a player here. Originally, I was going to take on Vlasic's contract because that would probably lower the trade value, but we can't do that. We'll take on Colin White instead. Hopefully this package right here is going to be enough for the first overall. They're saying no. I can give you some second round picks. Like, I really want to get this deal done. We're starting a new franchise, and we can start off with a franchise potential player. It just makes sense. 1 second round pick's not enough. Hopefully 2 second rounders is. Is this enough for the first overall? They're saying no. Okay, do we get stupid here? And when I say stupid, I mean multiple first round picks. I'll trade multiple first rounders here, and then potentially a goaltender. John Gibson, can I throw you in this deal? You're saying no to that. Why did we draft Elvis Merzlikins? I'm just realizing this now. We drafted Gustafson, John Gibson, and Merzlikins. What was the CPU cooking up? I have no clue. But I'm going to throw our first round pick for next season in this deal, and hopefully that's going to be enough. I'll even throw in our second round pick. Can we get the first overall in that franchise potential player? No, we can't. I'm going to be honest, this is basically the best package we can do. I don't think it's happening unless Sam Bennett can make the difference here. Like, we're basically going to be giving up our highest trade value players and our highest trade value picks, all for one franchise potential player, and we're not going to be getting them. So San Jose, you're going to be adding a franchise potential player to the team. They might be building a dynasty there. Like, you're going to have this franchise potential player, Macklin Sobrini, William Eklund, Will Smith, Quentin Musty. You got Dickinson for the defense. They got themselves a team there. Now, when it comes to the third overall pick for Hawaii, I'm actually going to pass up on the guy projected third overall, and I'm going to go for this power forward because we're going to need a scorer on the team. Buddy played 0 games last season. Is this the wrong decision? Probably, but we're going to go with the power forward because I'd rather have a power forward on the team. He's a 72 overall. That's perfectly fine. We'll give him a season to develop, and then he'll be joining the team. Now, I'm not going to lie. The rest of this draft is looking pretty chopped. And when I say pretty chopped, I mean completely chopped. There is no good prospects here whatsoever. So let's go trade some picks. Before I make any trades, though, subscribe to the channel if you wish Brad Marchand scored this breakaway goal and prevented the Florida Panthers dynasty. Okay, I think I'm actually cooking here. Matt Barzal, I feel like I don't trade for you very often, and you're still a really solid player, locked down for the next 7 years, not including this one. 87 overall. You got some X factors, even a superstar X factor. I'll give you the 36th overall, the 69th overall, Jason Zucker and Marcus Pettersson. Why would you want either of these guys? I have no clue, but when it comes to trade value, we're offering more than enough. Matt Barzal, welcome to the team. I want to say this is one of the first times I've ever traded for you. Like, I feel like I just never trade for Matt Barzal, but he's going to be joining the team today. That's a great pickup. Now, I'm not going to lie, we're not messing around here. There is no point drafting if we're just going to get miss after miss. Bobby Brink, he's got medium top 6 potential. He could eventually turn into something, and he's going to turn into something on our team. Also, just for a bit of context, this is the second round pick we traded to the Islanders. They got a medium 7th D potential player. No, we fleeced them in that deal. Now, when it comes to the re-sign phase, we have nothing to worry about here. We don't have any players that we have to sign, and that's because I gave every player in the NHL an additional year on their contract. contract. And the reason I did that is so we get accurate contract lengths here. Like Sam Bennett, he was under contract for 2024, 2025. If I didn't add an additional year to every player, he would end up being a free agent one season sooner than he should. So yeah, we have no re-signs to worry about here. The team's ready to roll, or at least roll into the offseason. We got to make a lot of moves. Now, just because we didn't do anything during the re-sign phase doesn't mean we don't have to hand out contract extensions. We're going to start with Sam Bennett here. I would like to do 4 years. If I'm going to be locking you down, it has to be 4 years. We're going to do 4 years at $5.7 million. So that's a great deal for Sam Bennett. He's likely going to end up playing top line minutes for us. When it comes to Brock Nelson, I'm not really too sure on you. You're 32 years old. I don't really know how well you're going to fit the timeline here. We're probably going to look at trading you. Same with Riley Smith. You don't really fit the timeline. Same with Tanev. There's a lot of guys here that don't fit the timeline. Boquist, on the other hand, he sort of fits the timeline here. So I'll do 2.3 for the next 3 years. So Boquist is going to be coming back to the team. Let's go make some moves. Now, this is clearly the first deal we have to do. Merzlikins, I gotta ship you out here. I can't pay you $5.4 million. The Anaheim Ducks have given me 3 different offers for Merzlikins. The Calgary Flames, they're offering 4 different offers. Yeah, you're off to Calgary for a 7th round pick. No clue why you would want him. Like, seriously, why would you want him? That just doesn't make any sense. You have Dustin Wolf. When it comes to John Gibson, there's a handful of teams he's willing to go to. Let's go make a trade. Okay, this is an absolute steal for us. Stick on the ice legend. Jet Greaves comes in to be the backup. We're also going to get Provorov. In the past, I've been able to turn him into an elite defenseman, so hopefully that can happen again today. We're going to have to give up a little bit more in this deal, but it's probably going to be like 2 7th rounders or something. If it's John Gibson and 2 7th round picks for Greaves and Provorov, I think we're fleecing them. It's going to end up being 3 lucrative 7th round picks. They have gone insane. 3 lucrative 7th round picks over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. That team's going crazy, and they need the more lucrative 6th round pick as well. No, that team is absolutely wilding right now. Also, when it comes to Provorov, of course, if we're bringing him back to the team, it's going to be a reasonable deal. 4.8 for the next 5 years. Now, you're looking at this deal and you're saying to yourself, stick on the ice, this deal makes absolutely no sense for the Vancouver Canucks, and that is correct. However, it makes sense for Hawaii. We bring in Brock Besser, we bring in Conor Garland, 2 good snipers. We need both of those guys on the team. For the Vancouver Canucks, it makes absolutely no sense, but it makes a lot of sense for us. Now I got to keep on rebuilding the top 6. I don't know what the CPU was cooking up, but he did not build me a good team here. Darren Rash and Riley Smith, both you guys are going to be sent over to Winnipeg. We're bringing in Gabe Vilardi. I need him on the second line for me. I need his power forward presence here. He's going to be a game changer for us. Here's a 3rd round pick as well. Hopefully that's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to cost us too much more. Here's a 4th round pick as well. We're not going to be drafting for the next 2 years, but that's perfectly fine because we're going to be competing for Stanley Cups. Before we get ahead of ourselves though, a lot of the guys we're trading for, they need extensions. One of those guys being Brock Besser, and he's looking for $7.7 million. We can make that happen. We're actually going to make it happen for a lot less though. $7 million for the next 4 years. That contract definitely works for me. And then when it comes to Vilardi, how much are you going to be looking for? 8.7? I don't know about that one. 8.7 is quite a bit. Yeah, you're an 87 overall. That just seems like a little bit much. So I think we're going to hold off with Vilardi here. I just can't do 8.7 million. Now we got to keep on making moves to help this team for the future. So Brock Nelson and Borgren, although you're a stick on the ice legend, I gotta trade you here. Matthias Michelli and Sean Dursey, welcome to the team. Obviously it's going to cost us a couple draft picks, because why wouldn't we have to trade more draft picks away? I think a 2nd rounder would be a little bit too much in this deal, so hopefully a 3rd round pick can make the difference, and it looks like it is. Now Cam Fowler, I still want to get rid of you. I don't really know how well you fit the timeline here. Granted, you're only 32 years old. You have a couple more good years left in you. I think we'll hold on to you for this season. Now I think we're basically set here, but there is one more thing I have to do. Michael Bunting, I have to trade you away. I just can't keep that cap hit. That cap hit's going to hurt us too much when it comes to handing out extensions, so I'm going to send you over to the Boston Bruins for a 4th round pick. Now with that trade complete, we should have enough money for all the guys that we extended, and this is the beginning of our dynasty. Now you don't see expansion teams like this. Matt Barzal, Brock Besser, Sam Bennett on the top line, Matthias Michelli, Gabe Vilardi, Conor Garland on the second line. Ideally, we would have a better second line playmaker, but Matthias Michelli is going to be that guy for us. When it comes to the defense, absolutely elite here. Everyone's got great fits across the board. Then when it comes to goaltending, 88 overall Gustafsson. He's our guy for the future, but he's also our guy for the present right now. Let's go get a Stanley Cup in year number 1. I think this team's capable of it. I think we're going to surprise a lot of the haters here, and I think we're going to absolutely dominate. And before, I was completely running my mouth and we're a bottom 5 team at the trade deadline, but we just won the first 3 games of the season. No, we're elite. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. Our team has not been good this season. The Hawaii Tiki have not been a dominant team whatsoever. 16th in the entire league, a 30-25-7 record. And there's a very simple reason on why we haven't been a good team. We don't know what the word defense is. We have been one of the worst defensive teams in the league here. That has to change. I believe we're the 6th worst team defensively. How does that even happen? We are in the absolute trenches when it comes to defense. We have to fix that. Brock Besser, 59 points so far, and he's -8. Matt Barzal is -9. Sam Bennett, your plus minus is 0. Okay, there is clearly some problems with this team right here, and we definitely need to address some of them. However, the fourth line definitely has to be addressed here. Mantha, you are -19. Tanev, you are -9. I guess it's basically the entire bottom 6 has to be addressed, and the third pairing defense. Yeah, because these numbers, that ain't it. And then when it comes to goaltending, Philip Gustafson, 23 wins, 1 shutout, an 897 and a 328. This is atrocious. So yeah, we got to make a couple trades here. We have to make some moves to make the bottom 6 and third pairing defense better, because yeah, what am I looking at right now? Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. Cam Fowler over to the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't really care about Renzel that much. I do care about the second round pick, and I'm really hoping we can acquire that here. They're going to be saying no to that package, but I can throw in some draft compensation. Here's a 6th round pick. It's probably going to have to be a 6th and a 5th, and it looks like it will. So we'll do a 6th and 5th rounder included in this deal. I'm going to send this package over to Chicago. They're saying yes. Now we're going to head over to the Montreal Canadiens and get the player that I actually want. So we're going to move over to the Montreal Canadiens next. Provorov and Mantha are going to be sent over. Caden Gooley and Newhook are going to be acquired. Caden Gooley is going to be a great addition to the defense. Alex Newhook's going to change up the bottom 6 for us because we need some more help there. We'll throw in our 2nd round pick for 2026, and I believe that should be enough. So that's a nice addition to the defense, a nice addition to the bottom 6, but we're still not done quite yet. So we're going to work on a little bit of a 3-team trade. Boquist over to the Ottawa Senators. We're getting 2 third rounders and a 2nd round pick. Ideally, we can then flip these assets into 2 other defensemen. We're going to be walking away with a 2nd and 3rd rounder. That's a great trade for us. The next thing we're going to do is head over to the Rangers, make a trade with them, and then we'll be making one more trade, and then I think we'll be set. Now, with this 3rd round pick that we just acquired from the Ottawa Senators, I'm going to send it over to the Rangers. We're going to bring in Euro Vakananen. He's going to be a good defensive defenseman for us, and then we're going to make one more move with Tampa. And ideally, I don't think we have to give up the 2nd rounder that we traded for. Perbix, I think we can get you for 2 4th round picks here, so I'm going to offer this over to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're going to be saying no, they just want a little bit more. So a little bit more is going to be this 5th round pick right here, and now we got Perbix on the team. We rebuilt our third pairing defense. I still think we have to make a couple changes to the bottom 6 though. Now we will make one final move here. A 2nd round pick from the Chicago Blackhawks. Kapanen and Berggren are going to be sent over. Zachary Bolduc and Jimmy Snuggerud, welcome to Hawaii. You're going to play some big minutes for me. Although both of you guys are 79 overalls right now, I see a spot for you on this team in the future. Now based on the beginning of the season, I did expect the Hawaii Tiki be a better team than this. However, I'll still take it. 16th in the entire league, a 40-33-9 record. We're in the postseason. That's really all that matters here. Our scoring was mid. Our defense was terrible. There's a lot of things this team has to work on. Matt Barzal, you led the way with 75 points. Brock Besser, 74 points. Gabe Velarde, 67. But you were plus 20. And Conor Garland was plus 24. So the 2nd line isn't terrible here. I'll actually give it up to the 2nd line. They held their own. Every other line, we basically won't talk about here. Alex Newhook, I am curious on your numbers since I brought you to the team. Like, what was your plus minus? You were only -3. Not really ideal, but it was better than what we had before. Meanwhile, when it comes to our third pairing, Perbix, Vakananen, what were you guys up to? Perbix was only -1. Vakananen, I'm assuming you were -1 as well. It looks like you were. That's not terrible. Like, I'll give it to these guys. They actually were a lot better than what we had before. Yeah, their overalls might not be the highest. Philip Gustafson, the save percentage is looking better here. You've been a bit better after the trade deadline, so hopefully you're a lot better heading into the postseason, because I'm going to need you to lock in. I need this entire team to lock in. If we really want to be compared to the best in the league, we have to show up when it matters. We have ourselves the Vegas Golden Knights in the 1st round, and that's not going to be an easy task. Now, in reality, obviously, we're probably not going to win a Stanley Cup in year number 1, but if we can at least compete with the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm going to be happy. 8-0 in game 2 is definitely competing, but we split the series so far, so if we can somehow steal game number 5 away, I think we'll be in a great spot, but we're going to drop that one in overtime. We're moving on to game number 6. I would like to at least make it to 7 games. If we can make it to game 7, then I think we're going to show a lot of promise for the future. Brett Pesci's picking up the 1st goal of the game, moving into the 2nd. Alex Pietrangelo and Shea Theodore are picking up back-to-back goals. Can we respond in the 3rd period, or are we going to be falling? Brett Howden's picking up an empty netter. We're going to be falling in the 1st round to the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm not surprised. I'm going to be completely honest here. I'm not really surprised at this result. There's a lot of things we have to work on over the offseason. We'll be better next season. You don't have to worry. Now, what an absolute shocker. In the year 2025, the Florida Panthers are winning in the Stanley Cup. I don't think anyone could have predicted that. They're going to be taking down the Vegas Golden Knights in 7 games. So considering we lost to the Western Conference champs, I'm actually not too mad with this team's performance. Matt Barzal 8 points, Velarde 7 points, Brock Besser 5 points. However, there is a goal scoring problem. Matt Barzal 8 assists for 8 points, Velarde 7 assists for 7 points. We need some more goals scored from the top guys. No question about that. Top guys need to show up for me. Meanwhile, Gustafsson, I can't ask for better save percentages or goals against. A 935 and a 218, you did what you could. So it's actually a good sign that this team stepped up in the most important games. Like in the postseason, they were at least competitive, but that doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, we're losing in the first round. We'll make some adjustments over the offseason, and this team will be ready to get back into the postseason, but actually win this time. Also, shout out to Nick Backstrom. He's going to be retiring here. Absolute legend. So we got ourselves the 19th overall pick, and we're going to go with Cameron Schmidt. Medium top 6 potential, starting off as 69 overall. I don't recall drafting this guy very often in NHL 25, so I thought I'd add him to the team today. And that's also going to be our only draft pick, so yeah, might as well get a medium top 6 potential player. So we got ourselves $20 million in cap space to work with. Gabe Velarde, I'm looking to bring you back to the team. We're going to do a sign and trade. I can't give you that much money. I can't give you 9.1 million, but I can give you 8.1, and you're willing to sign 8.1. Can we do under $8 million? Can we do 7.9 for the next 6 seasons? If we can do that, I'll definitely bring Velarde back to the team. He's going to say no to that offer. I'm not overly surprised at that, but I'm a little bit surprised at that considering what the contract interest was. Maybe we can do 8.1 million for the next 6. 8.1 I think is pretty fair for Velarde. I'm going to offer that contract over. We'll see what he says. He's going to be returning. I can do 8.1 million. When it comes to Perbix, I'd like to bring him back for the bottom 6, and that's exactly what we're going to do. 2.2 for the next 2 years. That's an absolute steal. And then when it comes to basically everyone else here, I think we're going to let them all walk. Soderblom, I guess I can bring you back depending on the price though. 1.5 million isn't terrible, so Soderblom, welcome back as well. And when it comes to handing out contract extensions, there's 2 players I'm looking at, Conor Garland and Matthias Michelli. We're going to start with Conor Garland. I think he could hold a pretty good role in our second line, and at this price tag, I'm definitely fine with it. 4.7 for the next 4 years. Conor Garland sticking around. Matthias Michelli, I'm a little bit concerned with how much you're going to ask for. I need to do multiple years. We can't do a 1-year deal here, so I'm going to hold off with him. Bobby Brink, you didn't really play the Grays for me last season, but at 2.1 million, what can I really expect? Josh Waugh, of course, I'll bring you back to the team. We'll be looking at 1.5 for 2 years. You're up to an 81 overall, so you're likely going to jump into the lineup. And then when it comes to Zachary Bolduc, of course, this is a no-brainer. 1.1 for the next 2 years. What if we did 3 years? Actually, we'll just stick with 1.1 for the next 2. And then arguably the most important extension here, Philip Gustafsson. 6.2 is an absolute steal, but I want to do a bit less than that. How about 5.8 for the next 6? So Philip Gustafsson is going to stick around here. We're basically good to go. Actually, I lied. Jack Reeves needs a deal. I can't walk away from Jack Reeves. 1.6 for 1 season. He'll be our backup next year. Now, I'm looking at signing a couple guys to some 1-year deals. Patrick Kane's one name that's jumping out at me. We'd be looking at 7.7 million for 1 season. I'll do 7.8 for 1 year. Patrick Kane, ideally, you're going to be joining the team, and that's going to leave us with $4 million. That means we could sign somebody else to a 1-year deal. And then clearly the other player going to be joining the team, that's going to be Justin Brazeau. $2 million for 1 season. That's a no-brainer. Now, moving into year number 2, it's good to see the entire top 6 is going to be improving. Sam Benn's up to an 89 overall. Brock Besser's an 89 overall. Patty Kane, we brought him in free agency, and he's up to an 88 overall. Gabe Velarde's up to an 89. So we have a handful of guys that are fringe 90s here. When it comes to the defense, we're going to see the exact same thing. Sean Dursey, 89 overall. He's a fringe 90. Brett Pesce, he's going to be an 88 overall. John Marino, an 87. Kane Gooley, an 88 overall. So the top 4 when it comes to the defense looks elite. And then when it comes to goaltending, we have Gustafsson in between the pipes. Honestly, this season's going to be decided by our bottom 6 scoring. Can these guys on the bottom 6 find the back of the net? That's the real question. Alright, I've seen enough here. We're firing this bum. I don't know who they are, but they're being fired, and we're immediately going to be hiring a coach here. I'll just promote this guy to our interim head coach. We're getting a new one. Jim Montgomery is available. We are signing Jim Montgomery. He has joined this team. He is our head coach moving forward. I don't know who Ness is. He was our coach last season, but bro is an absolute bum. I want him nowhere near this franchise moving forward. Okay, we're going to call this season a wash. This is the second time he's actually rejected my offer. I give him $7 million a year the second time around. He just does not want to sign with the team. I will say though, since firing our head coach, we've won 3 of the last 4. And before we won 3 of the last 4, we had lost 10 games in a row. Yeah, bro is not the guy. Okay, so plain and simple, things are an absolute disaster right now. A 30, 28, and 5 record. We're 6th in the division. We're one of the worst teams in the Pacific Division here. That's not what we're looking for. We can't score goals this season, and we can't keep the puck out of our net. There's actually nothing that we're good at doing. So with that being said, if you can't do something specific on this team, I will get rid of you. Our first line is terrible. This entire team is terrible. You know what? We're not doing anything. We're actually going to ride out this season just as an absolute dumpster fire here. Ideally get a high overall pick because we still have our first round pick for this upcoming season. We're going to draft a franchise potential player, probably Landon DuPont, then trade him away to bring in some superstars. We're going to fire our head coach and we're bringing in an elite head coach and an elite coaching staff. Once I do all those things, we'll be a competitive team. I think we can confidently say right now we have the worst coaching staff in the league. Like, we are absolutely atrocious here. There is nothing this team is good at right now. We don't have a good offense. We don't have a good defense. We're literally out here doing cardio right now. These guys are going for skates, doing absolutely nothing out there. It's just like, oh, if you're going for a skate, why don't you score the puck in the back of the net? We don't feel like doing that. Okay, how about you defend? We don't really feel like doing that. I'm not going to trust you guys whatsoever. I'm going to fire the entire coaching staff. Those guys clearly can't do anything right here. Like, we're not even averaging 3 goals per game, and we're allowing like 3.5 goals. That is atrocious. Of course, we're beating the St. Louis Blues. That doesn't shock me. Okay, so we're so deep in the trenches here that we weren't bad enough to get a super elite pick. Like, we're 21st in the entire league. We're not going to be walking away with a top 5 pick. However, we're so deep in the trenches, Patty Kane led us in scoring with 69 points, 30 goals, 39 assists here. This team is terrible. From top to bottom, this team is terrible. But you know what? I don't think it's the players on this team. I'm going to blame strictly coaching. I don't think we have the right coach here. The Washington Capitals are Stanley Cup champions. The coach is what's holding us back. If we could bring a competent coach to the team, we would be Stanley Cup champions. We're going to be walking away with the 13th overall pick. The Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be jumped to the 1st overall pick. I'm looking to make a trade here. Now, ideally, we find 2 franchise potential players here. We know Len DuPont has franchise potential, but is there going to be an auto-generated player with franchise potential? Oh, this is the Gavin McKenna year. Wasn't last season the Gavin McKenna year? I'm tripping. I got all the years mixed up here. I was thinking it was Landon DuPont. No, I'm bugging. Gavin McKenna, you're going to be available here. That's not bad. We can make a play for him. However, I'm not really sure if I want Gavin McKenna because it's going to take him too long to develop. I still will make a play for the 1st overall. I don't know why I got all the years confused here. So you know what? After consideration, it's just going to be way too difficult to trade for the 1st overall pick. We're going to have to give up way too much. However, the 13th overall and the 40th overall over to the LA Kings for the 5th overall, I'm not against that. I think we can get this done without having to give up way too much. Bobby Brink, where are you? I'm trading you away. Bobby Brink is gone. He is not that man. He is not a difference maker for us. However, whoever we get with the 5th overall pick could be. This player is likely not going to be immediately jumped into the lineup, but you know what? They're going to be good in about 3 years. Ryan Rubrock, Belchez, you're the 2 guys I'm deciding between, and I'm going to go with Ryan Rubrock here. I don't feel like I brought him to the team enough so far in NHL 25, so Ryan Rubrock, welcome to the team. And once again, that's going to be the lone draft pick we make here. Now, I truly believe we have a good team here. Right now, it's just not working out for us. Matthias Michelli, I'm going to qualify you as an RFA. This medium elite potential player that we drafted in the first year, you haven't really developed as I thought you would. 77 overall, you're 20 years old. You still have medium elite potential, but you're just not the guy I was expecting you'd be by now. So don't be surprised if you even get traded over the offseason because things have to change really quick on this team. Soderblom, I guess I can bring you back for one more season. You want 1.8 million? I don't really want to do 1.8 million. I'll qualify you as an RFA, and if you accept your qualifying offer, you can come back to this team. Other than that, I think everyone else is going to walk here. All right, I have a genius plan, and if this plan works out, I am the smartest person of all time. Not really, because I've put us in this position. Matt Barzal and 2 second-round picks for Seth Jarvis. Carolina's accepting. We have to get rid of Conor Garland now. I actually take that back. I don't think we have to get rid of Conor Garland. We might be getting rid of Brock Besser, and I think Brock Besser would be easier to move here. And I think what we're going to do is Brock Besser is going to be sent over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're going to bring in Adam Fantilli and a 3rd-round pick. They're going to be saying, no, I'll take the 3rd-round route. Can we go 1 for 1? They need a 7th-round pick. Honestly, this is perfect. So if we make this deal, Gabe Vilardi is now going to be sent elsewhere. Right now, it might seem like I'm losing my mind just trading players away that shouldn't be traded. There is method in my madness right now, because now we're going to trade Gabe Vilardi over to the LA Kings. We're getting Quentin Byfield and Braden Yager. If we can't get Yager, it's not the end of the world. I'm willing to go 1 for 1 here. We need to offer a little bit more. Now, offering a little bit more is definitely going to be worth it. Here's a 3rd-round pick. That's enough for Quentin Byfield. So now we have $18.5 million in cap space. We're going to spend all of that money on one player. And who are we spending that money on? Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid, I will bring you to this team. Let's go through negotiation. What do you want? I will give you everything you want. So I've gone ahead and talked to Connor McDavid. Here's the contract we're looking at, $18.5 million for the next 6 seasons. I need him to accept this. If McDavid doesn't accept this, then all of those trades we just made were pointless. Connor McDavid, I need you to come to this team. You seemed interested in joining the team. We also got a new head coach. Or did we? Why does it say his role is NHL associate coach? He should be our head coach, unless we ended up getting both guys. Okay, we got John Cooper and Pete DeBoer. McDavid, if you do not join this team, I don't know what to say. I don't know how we got both of them. I thought both of them were trying to become head coaches. Apparently not. Apparently Pete DeBoer was interested in being an associate coach, not the head coach. We are fleecing right now. All I need is Connor McDavid to join this team. If Connor McDavid joins this team, no one is stopping us. We have the greatest coaching staff in NHL history. Pete DeBoer, who is an A+. John Cooper, who is an A+. Nobody is stopping that as long as we get Connor McDavid here. But I need Connor McDavid. I need Connor McDavid incredibly badly. We need him to join the Hawaii Tiki. And if he does that, we're going to be looking at multiple Stanley Cups in the future. Connor McDavid, I need you to accept the contract I offered you. You would be a game changer for us. I am terrified right now. He hasn't accepted the contract yet. McDavid, please join this team. If you do not join this team, there is no way we're winning a Stanley Cup in the future because we just traded away too many good assets. We traded away assets in the hopes that Connor McDavid would join this team. We're set. We are building a dynasty here. Nobody is stopping us. The first line is now going to be Connor McDavid, Seth Jarvis, and Quinton Byfield. The second line is going to have Adam Fantilli, Connor Garland, and then we probably should bring in a playmaker. I could trade Sam Bennett away here. We would have enough money. Sam Bennett, you're gone. I'm trading you away. We're bringing in a playmaker for the second line. Okay, trading away Sam Bennett is actually the smartest thing we can do here because we're going to get Nick Suzuki in a 4th round pick. You heard that right. We are getting Nick Suzuki without that 4th round pick, and we do have to include some draft capital, but that's perfectly fine. We're bringing Nick Suzuki to the team. For Sam Bennett, Matthias Michelli, a 3rd and 4th rounder. It took a little bit, but now the team's set. Now, when it comes to contract extensions, I really don't know what we can offer here. John Marino, you will come back to the team. I'll do $4.9 million for the next 4 years. You're going to be a key part for this defense. Jimmy Snuggerud, I can bring you back to the team. It's just over $1 million for the next 2 seasons. Perbix, Sam Steele, Newhook, you guys are likely going to be walking. Rinzel, I will extend you though. We'll do 3 years at $900K. You're probably going to play some third pairing minutes for me next season, so that's going to be a really good contract. But Connor McDavid fell into our laps. He completely changed this franchise. We're winning a Stanley Cup next season. No one's stopping us. Well, this rebuild has gone exactly according to plan. Yep, haven't had to deviate from the original plan whatsoever. Connor McDavid, Seth Jarvis, Quinton Byfield, Connor Garland, Adam Fantilli, Nick Suzuki. Connor Garland is the only player from our original top 6. Everyone else was brought in at a later date, and now we're looking elite here. The defense looks spectacular as well. I don't think there's any weaknesses here. We have our goaltender, we have our defense, we have our forward core. But then again, I have said that for the last 2 years, and then we saw how things went. However, there is a big difference this time. We actually have a coaching staff here. Pete DeBoer is the associate coach. We have John Cooper as the head coach. No one's going to stop those 2 guys. Now, who would have seen this coming? The Hawaii Tiki are now one of the best teams in the NHL, a 39-21-4 record. All we needed was Connor McDavid and a brand new top 6. And good coaching. That is all this team was missing. Florida is terrifying me though. Look at that defense. They have the best defense in the entire league. Nobody's competing with them defensively. Connor McDavid does have 89 points though at the trade deadline. Seth Jarvis 68 points. Quinton Byfield 65. Brett Pesce is plus 34. This team has figured it out. The second line's a bit of a disappointment. I won't lie. I was expecting these guys to be a little bit better. Connor Garland, maybe I have to trade you away. Maybe you're not the guy that I thought you were going to be. Because yeah, clearly the second line is missing something. We're going to go get an elite sniper for the second line. Connor Garland just isn't it. Gustafsson, 24 wins, 3 shots, a 902 and a 298. You haven't necessarily been the best so far. Like Soderblom has significantly better numbers. I'm not going to lie, you've let me down a little bit here. But you know what? I'm going to give you a bit more time to develop. But if you don't start to show your potential in the next season or 2, I will trade you away. With that being said, Connor Garland, I'm trading you away because we need a better sniper. Okay, so this is what I think we're going to do. Connor Garland, you're going to be traded away. Ryan Rubrock, you're going to be traded away as well. However, if I package both of you guys up, I can get Dylan Guenther. And Dylan Guenther is definitely going to be the sniper we need on the second line. He's going to be elite for us. I'll throw in our first round pick for 2027. Dylan Guenther, welcome to the team. Let's go win ourselves a Stanley Cup. Also, right after trading for Connor Garland, he's immediately on the trade block. Now we have by far our toughest task in front of us. I am truly not prepared for this first round matchup. The Tiki are going to be finishing 3rd overall in the entire league, a 52-25-5 record. Florida's defense is incredible though, 188 goals allowed, 2.92 per game. Nobody's competing with that. But our first round matchup, it's going to be a tough one. You might have saw who it was. It's the Vancouver Canucks. And you know what that means? We're taking on one man in particular, Thatcher Demko. We have NHL 25 Thatcher Demko. We could be in trouble. Dylan Guenther, one acquisition that was 9 goals, 11 assists for 20 points. He was +4 as well. So that means our second line is playing a lot better right now. Conor McDavid, 118 points. That fell into our lap. There's no reason we should have got Conor McDavid, but we did. Gustafsson, 36 wins, 3 shots, a 900 save percentage, and a goals against of 3.04. Figure it out. That's all I can say here. Gustafsson, I need you to figure it out. We're taking on the Vancouver Canucks. That means we have NHL 25 Thatcher Demko in the first round. We might get shut out here. Like, what can I say? NHL 25 Thatcher Demko is just that guy. Like, he is elite in this game. We're dropping game number 1 3-2. Not what I wanted to see. 9-2 is significantly worse. We're about to get swept. This didn't happen. We're ignoring all of this. Gustafsson, you're gone. You allowed 9 goals, 6 goals, 4 goals, and 3 goals. You did everything but not stop the puck. Yeah, so there's clearly one thing happening over the offseason. We fixed the entire top 6. We'll ignore that absolutely all of them underperformed. Nick Suzuki, you were -10. How does that happen? You played 4 games and you were -10. Bro is a fraud. But Gustafsson, you're an even bigger fraud. Soderblom, you're 1000% not coming back. I'm not re-signing you. Jet Greaves, you're going to be taking over as the backup. Maybe Jet Greaves should be the starter. That's what we're doing. Next season, Jet Greaves is the #1 goaltender for this team. We're going right to contracts right now. I'm making sure Jet Greaves is re-signed for next season. He's the starter. We are going to ride or die with my man, Jet Greaves. He is the #1 here. $800K for next season. No, we're doing a 2-year deal because when you lead us to a Stanley Cup, I want to make sure you're coming back the following season. 2 years, $900K. Jet Greaves is our man. We're riding or dying with Jet Greaves. Now, I wasn't kidding about trading Philip Gustafsson away. I'm going to send him over to the Detroit Red Wings. Sebastian Cossa, you're going to be the backup behind Jet Greaves. Marco Kasper, you're going to be brought in because you're under contract for the next 3 years at $2 million, and that's an absolute steal. Gustafsson's not going to be enough himself. That's perfectly fine. We have other players I can trade away. One of those players being Alex Newhook. I'm not going to be bringing him back to the team. He can be shipped out in a deal like this. Hopefully that's going to be enough to get this one done. They need draft picks. If I have to give up draft picks, I'll do that. I didn't want to give up draft picks, but here's our 3 draft picks for this season. Is that enough for Marco Kasper and Sebastian Cossa? Yes, it is. At this point, this video has just become a no drafting challenge, but that wasn't the original plan. Somehow it's just turned into that. Now, we might have $11 million in cap space, but we can't get ahead of ourselves because there's a handful of guys that are going to need extensions. Sam Steele, Perbix, Vakananen. I'm going to be honest, unless you guys are signing cheap contracts, you're probably not coming back to the team. Vakananen, I will bring you back for $1.7 million though. That's an absolute steal. Perbix, are you going to be willing to sign something similar to that? You want 2.5? I don't hate that. So Perbix is going to come back as well. And then Sam Steele, since we're giving everyone else extensions, I'm not giving you one because we actually don't need you. Now, with all the extra cap space that we have, re-signing all these important pieces shouldn't be too difficult. Sean Durzi is looking for $11 million, and that's quite a bit. He's an 89 overall. I could probably keep him for the rest of the rebuild, but he's 28 years old. Maybe I don't want to give him a full no movement. We could do a no movement alongside a modified no trade. He's not really too interested in that. Sean Durzi, do I actually want to bring you back to the team? Like, you're a great player, don't get me wrong, but at that price tag, I feel like we go with the cheaper option. You know what? We're definitely not going to give Sean Durzi $11 million, especially if I can send him over to the Montreal Canadiens and we can get Lane Hudson, who's under contract for 4 more years at $4.8 million. I am 1000% doing that. We're just going to build the Montreal Canadiens defensive core with a couple of adjustments. We have Lane Hudson, we have Kane Gooley, we got Brett Pesce here, we have John Marino. What more do we really need? And then with making that deal, we actually freed up a little bit more cap space, so we could go make one splash in free agency if we wanted to. Now, who is that splash going to be? Well, I think we're going to go with Ryan O'Reilly here. 7.2 million is what he's looking for, but I'll give him 7.6 million just to make sure he joins the team. With that contract handed out right there, we're ready to roll. I actually lied about that because we have to hand out some extensions. Josh Waugh, I'm bringing you back to the team for 2.5 million, and Zachary Bolduc, I'm hoping we can do basically the exact same thing with you. How much are you looking for? 1.9 million. That works for me. Now, the forward core on this team looks spectacular. Like, nobody's going to be able to compete with this. We have incredible depth throughout the entire lineup. Even the defense is looking elite here. Lane Hudson, I want you on the top line with Brett Pesce. Caden Gooley, you're going to be alongside John Marino. This is looking really good. And then we have our goaltending. Jet Greaves. Greaves, 83 overall. That's a Stanley Cup goaltender right there if I've ever seen one. Jet Greaves is leading us to a Stanley Cup, if not this season, next season, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just went back-to-back with him. Jet Greaves is that guy. Never question them. Now at the beginning of this video, this is where I expected the Hawaii Tiki to be probably 2 years ago. A 47-12-4 record. The boys are absolutely flying right now. 4.19 goals per game, 2.67 allowed, the best in the NHL. Conor McDavid, 92 points. I still haven't processed the fact that this guy's on our team. Like, the fact that he somehow made to free agency makes no sense. Seth Jarvis, 75 points, Quinton Byfield, 70, Nick Suzuki, 58. Our entire lineup here is absolutely elite. There is no weaknesses whatsoever, and I just want to point out Jet Greaves, 33 wins, 2 shouts, a 907 and a 270. This is an upgrade from Philip Gustafson. Jet Greaves is the man, the greatest of all time. There is no one I'd rather have in between the pipes right now than Jet Greaves, except for maybe Jordan Binnington, because Game 7 Binner's unstoppable. Now it's no surprise to finish out the season, the best team in the NHL, the Hawaii Tiki, a 57-19-6 record. The team's flying, the best offense and one of the best defenses, because it's not quite the best. The Dallas Stars are slightly better, but that's neither here nor there. Conor McDavid, 116 points, the best player in the NHL. You can't convince me otherwise. 62 goals, 54 assists. Seth Jarvis, 96 points. Quinton Byfield, 91. The top line's looking elite. The second line's looking elite here. Everything about this team is elite. Ryan O'Reilly, we picked you up in free agency. I didn't expect you to do too much, but you're picking up 50 points from me. You're showing up when it matters most, and that's all I care about. Jet Greaves, 40 wins, 2 shots, a 906 and a 273. How on earth is this man outperforming Philip Gustafson? It's like a 6 overall difference. Meanwhile, looking at the Columbus Blue Jackets, I don't know where Philip Gustafson is. Where did I actually trade Philip Gustafson? I don't remember. I thought I traded him to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Maybe I'm bugging. Philip Gustafson, which team did I trade you to? I actually don't recall. Philip Gustafson, I traded you to the Detroit Red Wings. That's my bad. I sent you there and we got Marco Kasper. I should have remembered that. But you had 29 wins this season, a 909 and a 308. Jet Greaves had better numbers than you. All I'm saying is that man is our guy. We're taking on the Chicago Blackhawks in the first round. It's a Jet Greaves masterclass incoming. Yeah, if I remember correctly, we got Jet Greaves in the John Gibson deal, not in the Philip Gustafson deal. Philip Gustafson, we got Marco Kasper and somebody else in the deal that I can't remember right now. I feel like we got multiple players in that deal. I'm completely blanking on who else we got, but that doesn't matter. We have a 3-1 series lead, looking to close down game number 5. Are we finally making it to the second round this video? Yes, we are. And now that we've made to the second round, we've got to build on that momentum. We can't stop here. We've won 4 games in a row. We're looking to make it 8 games in a row, but now we have NHL 25 Thatcher Demko. If we can beat NHL 25 Thatcher Demko right here, then we're going to be winning a Stanley Cup, but he's going to be shutting us out in the first game. No, that did not just happen. We split the series with the Vancouver Canucks. Game number 5 is going to be an important one once again. We're dropping that one 5-2. It's NHL 25 Thatcher Demko shutting us down. If we didn't have to play Thatcher Demko here, we would have swept the Vancouver Canucks. But instead, they have NHL 25 Thatcher Demko, who are running out of the building in the first period. This game is over. We're beating them 9-4. We just set a statement here. 9 goals set a statement heading into game 7. They're not ready for us. Now, if we scored all of our goals in game number 6, I'm going to be a bit rattled, but that's not going to be the case because we're going to score some goals right here. Ryan O'Reilly's picking up the first of the game. Moving into the second, we're not scoring. Jet Greaves is going to be allowing 2, but we're going to repay that man. We're picking up 3 in the third period because that's what we do. Just kidding. Jimmy Snuggerud's picking up the lone goal in the third. We have overtime between these two teams. The winner is off to the conference finals, and that winner is going to be the Vancouver Canucks because Niels Höglander is going to end it on Jet Greaves. Absolutely heartbreaking. All I can say is Jet Greaves earned his spot to be our #1 goaltender. He's 100% the starter for next season. I'm not turning my back on him yet. I mean, to be fair, I'm likely never going to turn my back on Jet Greaves until he asks for $18 million. Then I'm going to turn my back on him because I can't afford him and I don't want to give him $18 million. NHL 25 Thatcher Demko is a Stanley Cup champion. Ain't no way. NHL 25 Thatcher Demko really did us like that. He's going to go on to win the Stanley Cup. Conor McDavid, 7 goals and 7 assists for 14 points. Dylan Guenther, 13. Quinton Byfield, 11. Ryan O'Reilly, you did your thing here. 10 points in 12 games, 4 goals, 6 assists. You stood tall when it mattered most. I brought you to this team and you stepped up for us, but it wasn't enough here. Meanwhile, Jet Greaves, what are you doing? An 876 and a 336. maybe you're not my starter for next season because you kind of folded. I'm going to give Jet Greaves 1 more year as the starting goaltender. I've seen what this man has been able to do in the past. I've seen what this man can do during the regular season. I don't feel like giving up on him quite yet. I gave Gustafsson a handful of years. It's only right I do the same to Jet Greaves. You know what? This was just a spectacular draft. I couldn't ask for more top 9 potential players and 7th D potential players, because that's what we got. 2 top 9 and 2 7th D potential players. Isn't that amazing? Now, Ryan O'Reilly, thank you for the 1 season you played with the team, but you've dropped to an 82 overall, so I'm going to have you walk here. I'm probably going to let these 2 players walk as well. Unless they're willing to sign 2-way contracts, we're going to sign you to a 2-way contract. I'll give you $875K for the next 2 years. You're just going to be playing in the AHL for me. And Samuel Poulin, I'll do the exact same with you. We'll do 2 years, $900K. So we're going to be re-signing 2 players that aren't really going to play for us. And that's it. We have $9.2 million in cap space. We could sign a big time free agent, or at least that's kind of the goal here. Are we going to be able to? Probably not, but we'll figure it out. Now, right now we have $9.2 million in cap space, so we could sign somebody on a 1-year deal for $9.2 million. That's great. However, we have to hand out contract extensions. Quinton Byfield, I want to do longer than 2 years, so I'm going to hold off with you. Ridley Gregg, barring how much you're looking for, we might trade you away. I can do 4.8 for 1 season. Ideally, we do 2 years. And we actually might do 2 years here. I'm going to cook something up with Ridley Gregg. We're going to do 50% team protection that final season. We're going to do 4.4 million for the next 2 years. Actually, 4.5 million. You're an 87 overall. That's a really good contract for you. And considering you're playing bottom 6 minutes, I think that's an amazing deal. Jimmy Snuggerud, I'm bringing you back to the team as well. We're going to do 2.8 million for the next 3 years. Jimmy Snuggerud's an absolute beauty. 84 overall, 2.8 million. You can't ask for a better deal. Meanwhile, this mediumly potential player who is an 80 overall, I should trade you. By every metric, I should trade you here, but I'm not going to trade you. I'm going to keep you for this season. Maybe. Like, realistically, I should trade you away. Jet Greaves, how much are you looking for? $2 million? I'll give you $2 million. And then Sebastian Cossa, I'll re-sign you as well. You're going to be the backup this season. We'll do 2 years, $900K. That works for me. So we have $9.2 million to work with. Zach Hyman, I don't have enough money for you. Who else is willing to sign a 1-year deal? You already know. Alexander Ovechkin is being brought to the team here, and I'm going to play him on the top line alongside Conor McDavid. That's what we're going to do. Alexander Ovechkin, $7 million for 1 season. Nobody's going to outbid me. You're going to play first line minutes because I know you'll absolutely dominate. Now, signing Alexander Ovechkin is definitely the play here because he's going to play on the top line alongside Connor McDavid, and we're also going to have Seth Jarvis on the top line. On the second line, we're going to move Quinton Byfield down. He'll play the entire season on the second line. Ideally, that means he's going to ask for less money when we eventually give him a contract extension, and then after this season, we move Quinton Byfield back up to the top line. We're playing chess, not checkers. Now, there's a handful of reasons why Quinton Byfield's moved down to the second line, but I have learned in the past, it does not matter what overall you are. If you're an elite player or we're an elite player, you'll still produce somehow if you're put on the first line. So Alexander Ovechkin, I would not be overly surprised if you scored 50 goals this season. Yes, you haven't scored 50 goals in the past 2 seasons, but now you're playing with Connor McDavid. I can guarantee you this guy's looking at 45, 50 goals this season, and it's going to make absolutely no sense. The defense is looking amazing here. Goaltending is looking great. Sebastian Cossa is up to an 84 overall. Maybe he takes over for Jet Greaves, but until that moment, Jet Greaves is the guy. Now, I thought I was playing chess, not checkers. However, there's one problem. We were playing Uno from the very beginning, so I'm not even playing the right game here. Quinton Byfield's only looking at a 1-year extension. I can't only do 1 season. We're going to hold off. Eventually, we're going to lock him down to a long-term deal. When is that going to be? I have no clue. We have a 41-12-9 record. Right now, we're one of the best teams in the entire league. I don't think we stop at the trade deadline. I don't really think it makes sense for us. We're not going to make any trades. I like the team that we have, so we're just going to go right to the end of the season, and then hopefully at the end of the season, we can do a long-term deal. But I can't just do 1 season here. A 1-season deal is not going to work for me. If anything, we'll qualify you as an RFA and trade you away, because yeah, I need my players locked down long-term. All right, now before we do anything here, Caden Gooley is up to a 93 overall. I have to point that out. Number 2, Quinton Byfield. You're still only looking for 1 season here. You're interested in re-signing with the team, but you only want 1 season. You have to make it make sense here. Like, I don't understand how you're looking for an extension, but you don't really want to sign an extension. You only want 1 season. We're first with a 56-17-9 record, but the Florida Panthers won 58 games this season. We can't sleep on them. However, we did have a better offense and a better defense than them. Connor McDavid, of course, should lead the way offensively, 118 points. Seth Jarvis, 113. And Alexander Ovechkin is not quite 50 goals here, but you know what? 41 goals, 53 assists for 94 points. I'll certainly take it here. And then when it comes to goaltending, I have bad news. Jet Greaves isn't the guy anymore. Sebastian Cossa is taking taken over. 47 wins, 3 shouts, a 907 and a 264. He's been pretty good this season. Jack Hughes has been pretty good as well. However, none of the regular season success matters. The postseason is what we care about. We're taking on the Minnesota Wild. This team's got to see some postseason success eventually. Like, we have all the right pieces here. We have a bunch of elite talent. We just need this elite talent to all show up at the exact same time. Do not lose game 3. Why am I not surprised? We split the series with the Minnesota Wild. We need to win game number 5 here. We can't afford to lose that one. You know what? I'm just going to simulate the rest of this series. Whatever happens, happens. We just better not lose in the first round. We're winning back-to-back games. That's what I needed from this team. I need this team to show up, and you know what? We're just going to simulate the entire postseason. I think we're overthinking it a little bit too much. We have NHL 25 Thatcher Demko in front of us, so we already know what's going to happen here. We're going to blow this team out of the water. Okay, the offense woke up. We are scoring goals like crazy right now. That just needs to continue into the conference finals. We're dropping game number 1. That's perfectly fine. We're winning 4 straight after that. Here we go. We're in the Stanley Cup Final. It has taken a hot minute to get to this point, but now we're locked in. This team is scoring goals like crazy. We're keeping the puck out of the net. We're doing everything that we have to in order to win. Now all we have to do is win 4 more games, 4 more victories, and we're Stanley Cup champions. Can we make the comeback in this series? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. We lost in game 7 in overtime. We lost the first 2 games, won 2 straight games after that, lost the next game in overtime, but we responded in game number 6, and in game 7, when it mattered most, we lost in overtime. I'm heartbroken. I am absolutely heartbroken. Hawaii was about to bring home their first Stanley Cup, but we're falling in 7 games. I don't even know what to say here. I really don't. Conor McDavid, 31 points. Seth Jarvis, 26. Nick Suzuki, 21. Why were you -3? Why was Nick Suzuki -3? Why was Quinton Byfield -5? Why was Dylan Guenther -7? Where was Alexander Ovechkin? Where was that? Where is Ovi? Excuse you. Where is Ovi? Where is Alexander Ovechkin? Did the game sit Alexander Ovechkin? What happened to this man? Where did he go? I didn't check our lineup heading into the Stanley Cup Final because I didn't think I had to. Where did Ovi go? He's an 89 overall. Is this man the AHL? He better have not been sent to the AHL. He played the regular season with us. When it came to the postseason, he had 14 goals, 14 assists, 28 points. Am I blind? Where is Alexander Ovechkin? Okay, I'm not losing my mind. Alexander Ovechkin is not on this list. I'm assuming that means it's because he's retiring. But yeah, I was thinking Ovi didn't play the postseason for us. I was about to lose my mind. But no, he had 14 goals, 14 assists, 28 points. Ovi was here for this run. Sebastian Cossa, 15 wins, an 891 and a 298. It just wasn't good enough for me. We haven't been able to find a goaltender that's been good enough, and I don't know what it is. Is it our goaltender? Is it our defense? Something keeps folding on us once the postseason comes around, because during the regular season, we look great. In the postseason, a lot of things change for us. And it looks like I am correct. Alexander Ovechkin is going to be retiring. 1,100 goals exactly. I'm happy to see he scored his 1,100th goal with the Hawaii Tiki. He's finishing with over 2,000 points. Meanwhile, Sidney Crosby, you're retiring a bit early on me. Only 41 years old, 87 overall. That's not right. You should play till you're at least 50. I think that's pretty fair. Now, before we even get into the draft here, Quinton Byfield, are you interested in signing an extension? Caden Gooley has franchise potential. What is going on here? But Quinton Byfield, will you re-sign? I'm actually seriously considering trading you. I'm going to be completely honest. I can't only do 1 season, so do not be shocked if you're traded at the draft here. I will do what I have to for the betterment of this team. All right, we're going to play a little bit risky here. Quinton Byfield, I'm looking at trading you away. For some reason, I don't know if the Columbus Blue Jackets have just been the worst team of all time. They have so many elite potential players here. It makes absolutely no sense. This team has had a top 5 pick for the past 4 years now. I know for a fact we're not getting all 4 of these players. That's a no-brainer. I'll take Frondell out of this deal. How far away are we from getting these 3 elite potential players? They're saying no. I'm perfectly fine with that. We have draft picks to work with. I'll give you the 32nd overall as well. How far off are we? We still need to add a little bit more. I'll give you the 65th overall pick. Now how far away are we? I think we're actually reasonably close here. We're close enough where I think I can just throw a player in this deal. Now, I don't want to trade away this mediumly potential player quite yet, who's 23 years old, that we drafted in the first season. I will throw Marco Kasper in this deal, though. If I throw Marco Kasper in this, is it enough to get these 3 players right here? They're still saying no. Multiple first-round picks, then. If we could walk away with all of these players, I think we're actually going to be better off for the future. As long as we can re-sign all of them, they're saying no. All right, we'll go back to the drawing board here. Which of these players do I actually want? Antropov, you have 1 more year left on your entry-level contract. You're a playmaker. Do we need a playmaker here? Rich Forrest, you're a two-way forward. And then Kostopoulos, you're a playmaker as well. I don't think we need multiple playmakers here. I'm interested in this guy right here who's a two-way forward. I'm not really interested in all the playmakers here. Granted, are these playmakers that score goals or not? Because I've seen playmakers who score 50 goals, and I don't really classify that as a playmaker. I classify that as a scorer. And this man right here put up 43 goals and 57 assists for 100 points, and he seems to take a handful of shots. So I think we're going to bring him to the team here. We're bringing in Forrest and Kostopoulos for Quinton Byfield. We're also going to try to get the 12th overall. I would like to get the 12th overall pick in this deal. I don't think we're going to be able to, but what if I give you my first rounder? I'll give you the 32nd overall as well. I think this is a pretty fair deal. I'll give you the 65th overall as well. I would like to get this deal done. I think this is a pretty fair deal. Who cares about the first round picks? Forrest and Kostopoulos for Quinton Byfield. A grinder just went 2nd overall. That's tough, I'm not going to lie, but that's beside the point. This is the deal we're doing. Give me those 2 players. Now, you know what? That Quinton Byfield is actually going to be the highlight of the draft here, because we are getting absolutely nothing. A whole lot of nothing here. I can't even get a low league potential player. I'm done with the draft here. A low top 9 potential player is the best thing I got here. I'm not kidding. It was miss after miss after miss. Even with some of those picks having semi-accurate scouting, they were still wrong. All right, now there's only one thing I'm focused on right now. Forrest, how much money do you want? I want to bring you back to this team for a reasonable price, and this isn't terrible. We're going to do 7.5 for the next 4 years, but I think we only have 5 years left in the rebuild. So if I give you a 5th year alongside a no movement, then can we just keep you on the team for the rest of this rebuild? Yes, we can. So we'll do 7.3 for the next 5 years. That keeps them around for the rest of this video. That leaves us with $7 million. And with that $7 million, I'm only going to sign these 2 guys to 2-way contracts. Perbix, I know for a fact I can't afford to bring you back to the team. Yeah, you want $6 million. I don't have that. All right, so I don't know how many of these players we're actually bringing back to the team. Nick Suzuki, we're definitely bringing you back. Brett Pesce, we're actually probably going to trade you considering you're 34 years old. Nick Suzuki's looking for $12 million. That's really not that bad. I was expecting it was going to be significantly more, and considering he's going to be sticking around for the rest of the rebuild, $12 million for the next 6 isn't bad whatsoever. So Nick Suzuki's going to be returning. Brett Pesce, I'll trade you away. When it comes to everyone else here, we'll figure it out. Zachary Bolduc, realistically, how much are you looking for? $3 million is not bad whatsoever. So I'll do 3.2 for the next 2 years. Zachary Bolduc's going to be returning. Josh Wall, we're actually going to write your contract. I'll qualify you as an RFA and then trade you away. Marco Kasper, I'd like to do a somewhat cheap deal with you. I can't do 4.8 million. So Marco Kasper, I'll write out your contract, then qualify you as an RFA. Vakananen, I'll write out your contract. Renzel, I'll write out your contract as well. Honestly, the cap situation on this team actually isn't terrible. Renzel, I take it back. I actually will bring you back to this team. We'll do 1.6 million for the next 2 years. As a third pairing defenseman, I can't ask for a better deal. And I think other than that, we're actually good to go. We'll trade Brett Pesce away and get a younger defenseman, but besides that, we don't need to do anything. So in order to get rid of Brett Pesce, we're doing a 3-team trade. We're getting 2 first rounders and 2 young players from Utah. We're then going to flip some of these assets over to the Minnesota Wild because we're going to be bringing Brock Faber to the team. I just want to get these 2 first round picks. I don't know if these 2 first round picks are going to be enough for Brock Faber, but I know it's fair for Brett Pesce. And if we can get 2 first rounders for Brett Pesce, then I know for a fact that 1 first rounder and probably a second is going to be enough for Brock Faber. So I'll throw a 7th round pick in this deal. Hopefully that's going to be enough. Let's move over to Minnesota. Okay, trading for Brock Faber has turned to the most difficult trade of all time, but Montreal here's 2 first round picks for Cole Caulfield. You're going to be saying no to that? Not much of a surprise. I will give you our first round pick for this season. All of this should be enough for Cole Caulfield. We are now going to go over to Minnesota. I'm going to give you Cole Caulfield. You're going to give me Brock Faber. This is definitely a fair deal. I just need you to accept it. I don't know how this has turned to the most difficult deal of all time, but somehow it has. Cole Caulfield straight up for Brock Faber. We're finally getting the deal I wanted done. Also, just because I think this is really funny, Caden Gooley now has more trade value than Connor McDavid, because that makes sense. All right, y'all got to hear me out here. I have a plan. So I'm going to throw this rookie on the top line. This is the medium potential player that we drafted. He takes a lot of shots. Therefore, I'm assuming in the NHL, he's going to continue to take a lot of shots. And as long as he has Connor McDavid as his primary playmaker, he probably should score at least 35 goals this season. Yes, he is only an 82 overall. That is beside the point. We are going to trust in the process here. Don't worry about these lines right here. I'll fix them. Actually, I can probably just move Brock Faber up and that fixes the lines. All right, we are not fixing the lines here because these are the lines we're going to run. When it comes to goaltending, Sebastian Cossa, you're an 84 overall. I believe we can win with you. Last season during the regular season, you were great. I just need you to be a bit better in the postseason and we can be Stanley Cup champs. Like, we were one goal away from being Stanley Cup champs. So why would I get rid of our goaltender? He's proven that he can win us the games up until game 7. We just need to show up when it matters. Please just win this season. A 64-18 record, 128 points this season, 4.3 goals scored, 2.68 allowed. I can't ask for a better team than this. Seth Jarvis is leading the way with 115 points. Conor McDavid's picking up 114. That rookie we had on the top line was an absolute fraud. Where is bro? What did he do this season? Like, did he produce it all? 19 goals, 26 assists, 45 points here. Yeah, he's being traded. Moving into the postseason, we're changing the lines because bro is not playing in the top 6 anymore. He got his chance. Sebastian Cossa, 46 wins, 8 shouts, a 920 and a 231. Please win me a Stanley Cup. We're taking on the San Jose Sharks. We're upgrading that first line. We're dropping that rookie way back in the lineup. He's likely going to be traded over the offseason. I want to make sure I get a little bit before his trade value completely falls off. It is our time to shine here. The Hawaii Tiki have never looked better than this. We won 64 games this season, but we're going to need overtime to win game number 1 against the San Jose Sharks. That's not a good sign. However, we did sweep this team after that, so maybe we're all right. Now, since we swept the San Jose Sharks, we just got to keep on rolling here. We got to start the postseason 8-0. Let's sweep the Edmonton Oilers, then move into the conference finals. No more messing around for Hawaii. We've dropped back-to-back games in overtime. We shouldn't be doing that. The defense hasn't been that great against Edmonton, but it's going to wake up here. We're winning game number 5, and then we're going to win game 6, move on to the conference finals. Why can't this team just make it simple? Like, why can't we just beat the Edmonton Oilers, move on to the conference finals, beat whoever we face in the conference finals, and win a Stanley Cup? It shouldn't be that difficult. We're scoring 7 goals on them. That's what I expect game in and game out. That's what I expect from the Hawaii Tiki in every game. A 7-1 victory, elite offense, and elite defense. That's what I need all the time here. We're sweeping the Dallas Stars and we're back in the Stanley Cup Final. Just don't give me Boston. You're kidding me. We have the Boston Bruins again. We will get our revenge here. We are going to take down the Boston Bruins and become Stanley Cup champions. We will not lose to the Boston Bruins in 2 straight Stanley Cup finals. I won't let that happen. It's time for the Hawaii Tiki to absolutely lock in here. We have a 3-1 series lead. Do not blow a 3-1 series lead. We're closing out in game 5. A 7-4 victory. We're Stanley Cup champions. McDavid's finally getting his first. And you know what? I think that's exactly why Connor McDavid left the Edmonton Oilers. He just couldn't win with that franchise, so he had to join the expansion team in the Hawaii Tiki. 22 goals, 10 assists for 32 points. Seth Jarvis, 30 points. Nick Suzuki, 28. Forrest is picking up 23. Adam Fantilli, 23. The team is absolutely locked in. Forrest, it's a good thing I moved you up to the second line because that's where you played in the postseason, and you were a lead on that second line, so I think that's where you're going to be playing moving forward. Meanwhile, Sebastian Cossa, 16 wins, 1 shout, a 913, a 250. We still have you under contract for another season, so that means another Stanley Cup next season. The Hawaii Tiki are Stanley Cup champions. Things are looking great here, and when it comes to extensions, I don't think we really have to extend anyone. I'm just going to double check with a couple guys. Josh Watt is up to an 87 overall, but we have his RFA rights. Same with Marco Kasper. We can trade these guys away and get some young players for the bottom 6. Okay, this is interesting. We got the 12th overall pick from Utah. We could make a play for the 1st overall and ideally get a franchise potential player, have that player play in juniors for 1 more season, and then they join us for the final 3 years. I think that's the move. We got to pick up at least 1 or 2 mediumly potential players here. They chill for 1 season, then they join the team for the final 2. The question is there going to be a franchise potential player available here? It doesn't look like it. That doesn't mean we can't make a move. Now, I scouted a whole lot of nothing. When it came to the 2nd overall pick, I didn't know what the player's player type was. However, now that I've seen this player get drafted, Darius Allison, you are a power forward, and I would love to bring a power forward to the team. Josh Watt, the 12th overall, is being sent over to LA. You're going to give me the guy you drafted 2nd overall. I will give you a 2nd round pick as well, which is the 66th overall. That's going to be enough to bring Allison to the team, and that's going to be a nice upgrade in 2 years. Now, we finally got something worthwhile in the draft, a mediumly potential goaltender with 165th overall. It has taken us till basically year 6 to finally get a good player in the draft, but we got one here. Unfortunately, he's not going to develop in time, and he is 20 years old. Alright, I take back every nice thing I said about him. Then again, he did have 9 shutouts last season, and he had 8 the season before. Bro might be a dog. Now, Marco Kasper, I guess I can bring you back to the team as long as you're willing to do 2.9 million. Can we actually do 2.8 for the next 2 years? Marco Kasper, you will return. I thought I was going to have to trade you away. Apparently not. You're going to be returning. Vakanen, unfortunately, you're going to be walking. I don't think we're going to be able to re-sign this young guy right here. Never mind. Yes, we are. We'll do a 1-year deal with him, 900K. He'll play some third pairing minutes for me next season. Outside of those 2 deals, we're just going to be giving out 2-way contracts and signing rookies. All right, so we got to figure out who we're bringing back to the team. Caden Gooley, I would love to bring you back here at the right price, and I don't know if $11 million is that price. Like, what have your numbers been since you joined the team? Like, have you actually been that good of a defenseman for me? Like, last season you had 10 goals and 35 helpers for 45 points. Is 45 points worth $11.5 million? I'm not too sure. Lane Hudson, how much are you looking for? Let's just compare these 2 extensions. Lane Hudson, you want 11.5 for 1 season. All right, Caden Gooley, maybe we will hold on to you, because at least with Caden Gooley, we're looking at a longer term deal, and I can probably give a no movement, get that down to about 10.5 million, maybe even $10 million. Caden Gooley, would you be interested in a deal like this? It looks like it. So he's gonna be sticking around 10 million for the next 8. He's gonna be accepting that one immediately. Ridley Gregg, I don't really know what we're gonna do with you. I probably could trade you away here and then we get some assets, and that wouldn't be a bad idea. Also, when it comes to this medium league potential player we drafted at the beginning of the video, 2.9 for the next 3. You'll play bottom 6 minutes for me for the rest of the video. And then of course Sebastian Cossa, who's up to an 87 overall now. You want $10 million. This is your final season with the team. Also, Jet Greaves had to leave the team because he won $5 million. I can't do that for a backup. Alright, normally in 10-year rebuilds, we end up running the exact same team for the final 2 seasons. I think in this video, we actually might run the exact same team for the final 3 seasons. So our entire bottom 6 is basically just going to be like 20-year-old rookies who are like 87 overalls. Like this guy we picked up from the Columbus Blue Jackets, under contract for the next 3 years, he's an 87 overall. That was one of the greatest trades I've ever made. But now we're going to send Lane Hudson over to the New Jersey Devils. We're bringing Luke Hughes onto the team. He's going to be here for the rest of the video. On top of bringing Luke Hughes in, we're also going to try to get their first round picks for the next 2 years. So I think this is a pretty fair deal for Lane Hudson. Like, Lane Hudson's trade value is pretty high right now. Yeah, we're getting Luke Hughes and 2 first rounders. Now, when it comes to the defense, I think this is basically just what we're going to run here. John Marino, I'm just going to ride out your contract here. It just makes sense for both sides. You get another chance at winning a Stanley Cup here. We get one more good year out of you. However, we do have to make one more trade because I need another left defenseman here. Molendyk, you're going to be that guy for 1.7 million. I didn't realize you were on the New Jersey Devils. I should have just got you in this last deal, but that's beside the point. 2 lucrative 7th round picks are going to be sent over, and then we're going to be ready to go. Also, after making all the trades we made, we don't have enough money for this medium league potential player we drafted at the beginning of the video. So yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Now, I don't see why this team can't run it back and win multiple Stanley Cups. The top 6 is all 90 overalls. The 3rd line's elite. The 4th line's elite. Everything about this team is elite. The defense is even looking pretty solid here. We already know what we have with goaltending. 87 overall Sebastian Cossa. He's going to show up in the big time moments, and he's going to lead us to another Stanley Cup. We're going back to back here, but we have 4 years left in the rebuild, so we might as well just complete a 5-peat. It's not that difficult. All right, Stick on the Ice is a massive clown. I actually just simulated round 1 of the postseason, only to find out I wasn't even recording. Yep, I didn't have the recording paused. I just wasn't recording. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Stick on the Ice has no clue what he's doing. So Conor McDavid had 157 points this season. 64 goals, 93 assists for 157 points, because why not? Last season, he had 114. The year before that, 118, 116, 118. That's what he's been doing since he came to the team. He's been about 116, 118 point guy until this season, where he picked up 157 points, because why not? Yeah, our first line is absolutely elite here. This entire team from top to bottom is elite. Sebastian Cossa is looking elite so far, and he was elite in the first round. We took on the Vancouver Canucks, and we swept them. Vancouver didn't stand a chance against us. We're moving on to the second round to take on the Edmonton Oilers. Now, like, real talk, Stick on the Ice is actually a massive clown here. How did I not realize I wasn't recording? I think the reason for that is I stopped the recording, I went and did something, came back 30 minutes later, and then just assumed that I paused the recording, not stopped the recording. But that's beside the point. We're 8-1 so far in the postseason. No team has really competed with us. I don't think Colorado's going to be able to compete, but they are winning game number 1. Luckily, we are going to be responding in game 2 and game 4. We split the series. Colorado's putting up a bigger fight than I was expecting. I'm not going to lie. However, we are 1 game away from the Stanley Cup Final? Can we make it to the Stanley Cup Final for the third straight season? Of course we can. And we have Florida in front of us here. Florida's the only team that could potentially stop us. But I have news for you. Florida's not going to be stopping us. Hawaii's going to take down Florida. They're going to win back-to-back Stanley Cups. They've already made it to 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals. We might as well win 2 of the 3. We have a 3-1 series lead, and we're not choking a 3-1 series lead. Closed out in game number 5. Hawaii's once again Stanley Cup champs. The Hawaii Tiki, after winning 65 games, are going to cap it off with the Stanley Cup. That's just something you love to see. And Conor McDavid, you probably put up some historic numbers. Seth Jarvis, 27 points, 12 goals, 15 assists. Conor McDavid, only 26 points in the postseason. Alright, bro wasn't as dominant as I thought he would be. Don Gunther was great, Fantilli was great, Caden Gooley was great. This entire team was pretty solid, and we really don't have to worry about extending anybody except for Sebastian Cossa. But we're not going to extend Cossa. He's actually just going to leave the team here. We don't have the finances to keep him on the team. I do want to thank him for helping us win another Stanley Cup, but we'll complete a 3-peat with a new goaltender we pick up in free agency. Did I trade that Utah pick to Montreal? I don't think I traded that Utah pick to Montreal, but we might have. It turned into the 4th overall. I don't think we did, but you never know. I actually don't recall. We've made a lot of trades over the past couple years. I know at one point we owned Utah's first round pick. I think we only had 1 year's worth of first round picks from Utah, so I don't think we traded that one to Montreal. We very well could have. I just don't know. Now it sounds bad, but I think this might be one of the first medium top 6 potential players I've drafted in the video. We have 3 years left, and this is the first medium top 6 player I've drafted. We've had some tough luck, and you know what? The drafting success is going to continue. In the second round, we're getting a mediumly potential goaltender starting off as a 60 overall, and he's only 19 years old, so that's better than the guy we drafted last season. Now, one mediumly potential goaltender is not going to be enough for me in this draft, so we're going to get a second one with a 132nd overall pick. Now, we have to be very careful with extensions. I don't think we're going to bring this guy back to the team. For $2 million, I don't think it's worth it. I'm just going to be honest. We have a couple young guys jumping into the lineup, so I actually don't think we need you anymore. Everyone's going to walk here. If you're willing to sign a 2-way contract, I'll bring you back. But other than that, everyone's walking because we have some massive deals to hand out. One of them's going to Conor McDavid. He's looking for an extension, and I'm really hoping he's not looking for more money after he had a career season. So these are all the players that we're looking at extending, and I know for a fact we can't keep them all on the team. Conor McDavid, I would love to keep you here. And at this price tag, we actually can do it because I'll give you a no movement, $19 million for the next 2 seasons. It's expensive, but you're worth the price. Seth Jarvis, I don't think you're going to be worth the price though, because I think you're going to be looking for too much. I can't do $17 million. Adam Fantilli, how much are you going to be looking for here? You want $10 million as well. I might be able to re-sign Fantilli, and then I'll have a replacement for Seth Jarvis. So I think this is what we'll do. Adam Fantilli, I'll keep you on the team. I'll give you a full no movement. We'll do $9.7 million. I think that's pretty fair for you. Especially with a no movement, you have some pretty high contract interest. So Adam Fantilli is going to be returning to the team. Conor McDavid's returning to the team. Seth Jarvis, I think we'll trade you though. And then of course, Darius Allison, you're going to be joining the team. $1 million for the next 3 years. We have you under contract for the rest of this rebuild. Now, one thing I've learned so far in this video, we don't need an elite goaltender. Nicholas Kakko, I think you can be our guy. $1.3 million for the next 3 years. You're going to be our starting goaltender. Then we're going to pick up Sheeloff to be the backup, and we have our goaltending tandem. We are going to run 2 81 overall goaltenders, but I think these 81 overalls are going to be enough for us because we have such an elite team in front of these guys. I don't think the goaltenders overalls really matter that much. We actually do need to sign one more cheap defenseman though, and I think we'll just go with this guy right here. 1.3 for the next 2 seasons. I don't need you to be a superstar. I just need you to play your role. Now it turns out we actually need another defenseman. I thought we just needed 1 third pairing defenseman. We need 2, and we're going to get this one from the Montreal Canadiens. Now that we've completed that deal, we're ready for the 15th different time. So I completely lied about running the exact same team for the final 3 years because we're just riding out Seth Jarvis's contract so we can go for the 3-peat. I don't care if we lose him for nothing. It's technically not ideal, but if we can win a Stanley Cup, then it's definitely worth it. The defense isn't quite as good. We don't have an 87 overall in the second pairing. And then when it comes to goaltending, we have 2 81 overalls, but that's beside the point. This team will succeed because we're going to score 18 goals per game. You might as well just call us the Edmonton Oilers. We don't need a goaltender. We don't need defense. We will outscore all of our problems. Then again, look how well that's worked out for them so far. Maybe this isn't the ideal way to win a Stanley Cup. Now it's another 60-win season for the Hawaii Tiki, a 60, 18-4 record with an elite offense and an elite defense. However, Conor McDavid's only picked up 109 points this season. Not as dominant, 150 point self that he had 1 season of. I still don't really get that like one season, he was just that guy. But other than that, 48 goals, 61 assists. I just realized McDavid's 35. You better not retire on me. We have 2 seasons left after this one. You can't retire on me. I need McDavid for the rest of this video. Nicholas Kakko, you're clearly the guy for the postseason. 31 wins, 5 shots, a 916 and 241. Bro was elite this season. Yeah, we're definitely relying on him in the postseason. We're taking on the Seattle Kraken, the team that drafted him. This is going to be interesting. But you know what? I believe in what we have here. We have elite offense. We have elite defense. We have elite goaltending. Nothing's going to stop us here. We're winning game 1. We're winning game 2. We're winning game 3. And we're winning game 4. Just like that, we're in the second round. It's pretty simple. So after sweeping the Seattle Kraken, of course, we have to move right into the second round here. We got some momentum, and that momentum's immediately gone after dropping game 1. But you know what? We'll get some new momentum. We've won 3 in a row, make that 4 in a row, and we'll move into the conference finals. This team's looking to make it back to the Stanley Cup Final for the 4th year in a row. And you already know, if we're making it back to the Stanley Cup Final, we're going to be winning in the Cup Final, because that's what this team does. We're winning game number 1. We're going to win game 2. Never mind, no we aren't. We've actually split the series with the Nashville Predators, and game 5 is a must-win game for us. We can't afford to drop that one, and what a surprise. We're going to shut them out 6-0. We're winning game 6. Never mind, no we aren't. I'm getting a little bit too confident with this team right here. We're moving into game 7. I feel like we haven't had the greatest luck in game 7s, so we better change that trend moving into this one. Each team's going to be picking up 2 goals in the first period. Moving into the second, once again, each team's going to be picking up 2. It's time for our elite offense to show up in the third and our elite defense to show up in the third. This team can defend, this team can score. I need both of those things in the third period. And what's going to happen? Well, that's exactly what we're getting. Elite offense and elite defense. We're back in the Stanley Cup Final for the 4th year in a row, and we're going for the three-peat. So we have a chance at the three-peat here, and we are guaranteed the three-peat. We're taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Stanley Cup Final. We already know what this Toronto Maple Leafs team is about. They're going to make it to the Stanley Cup Final, and they're going to fall in 4 games to us. Very rarely do I ever lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs in the postseason. Nope, you didn't see that. Nope, you didn't see that. Nope, I'm turning the face cam off. You did not see that. Nope, we're not looking at scoring. We're not looking at anything. Nope, right to the draft. Wow, that is a stick on the ice moment. Holy, I have never seen something like that happen before, where I am just running my mouth to a completely different level, and we lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Honestly, McDavid, if you retired there, I wouldn't have blamed you. Yeah, I have nothing to say. No comment whatsoever. I think I have to stop disrespecting the Toronto Maple Leafs as much as I normally do, because that was embarrassing. So there's not much I can say about what just happened. So I'm not going to say anything at all. We might even just sim through the entire draft here, because I don't think we're going to get too much. So we have $10 million in cap space. And you know what, Seth Jarvis? I'm not too happy I didn't trade you away, because I kept you on this team with the idea that this team would win a Stanley Cup. We did not do that. Jimmy Snuggerud, I think we're going to be able to afford to keep you on this team. I'm not 100% sure. Vasyunov, I will bring you back to the team. $2.5 million for the next 2 years. Actually, make that $2.6 million. You're going to play bottom 6 minutes for me. I need you to be a 4th line guy for the rest of this rebuild. That's really all I need from you. Marco Kasper, I think you're going to walk. Zachary Bolduc, I would like to keep you back as long as it's a good price. And 3.5 is actually pretty good. And you know what? I'm actually going to be an even better guy than that. I'll give you a full no movement if you take like 300k less. Make that 400k less, 3.1 for the next 2 years. Actually, make that 500k less. We have to save money where we can. Zachary Bolduc, hopefully that's going to be enough to convince you to come back to the team. He's going to be rejecting that. We'll do 3.1 million then. We'll do 3.1 million for the next 2 seasons. I'll give you a full no movement. I think that's a pretty fair deal, especially for what you provide to the team. I need a cheap player for our bottom 6, and that's what you're going to be for me. Now, for the final 2 years, I want to run the same team. I tried to do that for the final 3, but clearly that didn't happen. Dylan Guenther, you've been a big-time performer for us. Can I give you $14 million, though? I don't know about that one. Brock Faber, how much are you going to be looking for? You want 14 as well. If I traded both of you guys away, can I bring in like 3 $8 million players? Because I think we might be better off with 3 $8 million players. Kostopoulos, you're looking for 7.5 million, but I can probably get you for 6.9. That would leave us with about $14 million in extensions. That means we can bring in 2 $7 million players. I don't hate that. So I'm going to give you 6.9 million. You're going to return to the team. Brock Faber, Dylan Guenther, you will be traded. So here's the trade we're going to do. It's going to be Dylan Guenther for Levshunov, Portmartone, and a first-round pick. The Chicago Blackhawks are going to be accepting that one immediately, but now we have our replacement forward and our replacement defenseman, but we still have Brock Faber to move. So ideally with Brock Faber, we can get a young defenseman and a young forward, both guys who are on their entry-level contracts. I don't know how feasible that's going to be, but we're going to try for it. Okay, this is just a funny trade because of the players' names, Perreault and Pinot. What are the odds you get both of those guys on your team? We're going to be acquiring both of them. I think we're set for the next 2 years. There shouldn't be anyone else that we have to re-sign. I think we're ready to roll. So we got ourselves 2 more seasons, and this is the team we're going to be running for the next 2 years. We have some incredible center depth here. Maybe it makes more sense for Zachary Bolduc to play some 4th line minutes. That's just how good the depth is on this team. An 86 overall is playing 4th line minutes for me. When it comes to the defense, we have a big 3 here. Obviously, I want Luke Hughes on the top pairing. Why would he be on the second pairing? That makes no sense. The right side's looking pretty solid. Yeah, the left side is a little bit weak here, but we'll make it work. And then when it comes to goaltending, these 2 guys were pretty solid for us last season. I don't really care who the starter is. As long as the best goaltender is in between the pipes when the postseason comes around, we'll be all right. Both of these guys proved themselves last season. They both put up some amazing numbers. So whoever's the hottest goaltender is going to be the starter when the playoffs come around, because clearly this team's going to make the playoffs. Now it's truly a sad day here. Second in the entire league, a 52-27-3 record. The boys have fallen off. The Hawaii Tiki have fallen off here. Connor McDavid only 106 points. Nick Suzuki 98 points. Luke Hughes has actually turned out to be a really good pickup for us, 87 points. But how is Connor McDavid only plus 10? What are we doing here? How is Connor McDavid of all players only plus 10? That doesn't make any sense. The second line was really good, but I'm not going to forget that Connor McDavid was only plus 10 this season. Nicholas Kakko, you were the starting goaltender for a majority of the year. You didn't have the greatest numbers in the world, but I'm still going to ride with you. This is likely the wrong decision, but you know what? We're going to ride with the wrong decision here. We're taking on the San Jose Sharks in the first round. So whether or not we have a legit number 1 goaltender or not, we're just going to outscore our problems, but we don't need to do that. If our goaltender's standing on his head, a 1-0 shutout in game 1 is great, and then we're winning games after that. This man has allowed 6 goals so far in the postseason. We're moving into game number 5, and he allowed 5. Okay, this man is all over the map. He's either really good or really bad. In the last 2 games, he has not been good. We're in game 7. If we get knocked out in the first round here, I'm trading for an actual goaltender. I will give up way too much to bring an actual goaltender to the team, but I think we're going to be okay here as long as we don't collapse, and we almost collapsed. But it doesn't really matter whether or not we collapsed or almost collapsed. We're moving on to the second round. I will say though, if this team wants to see some success in the postseason, we're going to need to play a lot better than we did in round number 1. Round number 1 looked terrible for Hawaii. We're splitting the first 2 games. We're dropping 2 in a row, make that 3 in a row. We're bringing in a new goalie next season. We're getting a legit number 1, and that's what we're going to do for the final season. That's the lone trade we're going to make here, is getting a franchise potential goaltender. I mean, it won't have franchise potential, but we're going to get a franchise goalie. Now, it's kind of wild to think about, but the Toronto Maple Leafs broke this team. Out of all teams to break the Hawaii Tiki, it was the Toronto Maple Leafs in a sweep. How'd that even happen? Connor McDavid, Adam Fantilli, Nick Suzuki, you guys were all great. It was goaltending that held us back. We didn't have a true number 1, and we clearly saw that in the postseason, but that won't happen again. The salary cap's going to go up. That's going to give us a bit more money to play with. The only question is Connor McDavid going to retire on me? Connor McDavid, you clearly have 1 more good year left in you. You can't retire on me. Whatever you do, do not retire here. McDavid, I need 1 more year with you. All right, things have completely changed. Connor McDavid is not returning. He has decided to retire as a 95 overall with franchise potential. Thank you, Connor McDavid, for retiring on me. So now I don't really know what we do. What moves do we actually make here? I mean, we have a lot of cap space to work with now. We'll figure something out, but we did just lose our best player. Okay, I have a little bit of a plan here. I'm going to trade this medium-league potential goaltender for this medium-league potential goaltender. They're basically the exact same player, except one is a 79 overall entering his 2nd season in the NHL, and that's the guy we're trading for. So the plan is he's going to be the backup. Excuse me, what? Minnesota would be over the league's maximum salary cap. We're trading picks. How does that make any sense? How on earth would a team be over the salary cap by trading picks? What about that makes any sense? We're getting this future first round pick from the New Jersey Devils. That's the only other move we're going to make at the draft. We're not going to bother drafting any players here. I have a plan when it comes to bringing Carter George to the team. So here's the plan with Carter George. I'm going to give you a medium-league potential player and a first round pick. You're going to retain half of his contract. If you guys are willing to retain half of his contract, we're going to have enough money to make one big splash in free agency, and that big splash is going to replace Connor McDavid. It won't fully replace him, but we're going to have $20 million to work with. I think we should be able to replace McDavid with $20 million. We have everyone under contract, and we're replacing McDavid fairly easily, because who are we going to bring to the team here? None other than Connor McDavid's old teammate Leon Draisaitl. $18.5 million for the next 2 years. We found our replacement just like that. He might not be a playmaker, but that's perfectly fine. We don't need more playmakers on this team. We actually do need another defenseman though. So yeah, let's try to find a defenseman for pretty cheap. And you know what? This might be our defenseman right here. He's an 80 overall, only wants 1.3 million. That's a no-brainer. The team's complete. So here we go, the final season. It's kind of wild. At one point, we had Conor McDavid on this team, and he played a bunch of great years with the team. And then McDavid left us, so we replaced him with Leon Draisaitl. I think we actually could be better off here, because Leon Draisaitl is likely going to score more goals than McDavid did. And having him on the top line alongside all these guys right here, we might see even more success. We have one last chance to win a Stanley Cup, and we should be able to win one, because we got a big time upgrade in between the pipes. Carter George, I need one elite season out of you, and if you can give me that and one more Stanley Cup, then we can finish this video off on a high note. The last thing I want to do is get swept in the first round, so you better lock in. So we got ourselves one last chance here. A 59-14-9 record, 4.13 goals per game, and the defense 2.35, the best it's been in a long time. Throughout this video, I've been on the fence about whether goaltending matters or not when it comes to franchise mode. I feel like it does a little bit, but not nearly as much as we think. Like, I feel like you can win pretty consistently with like an 83-84 overall goaltender. If you have a 90 overall goaltender, I don't think there's that much of a difference. Like, you're gonna have to pay your 90 overall goaltender like $15 million. You'll have to pay your 84 overall goaltender like $5 million. From what you get for a $5 million goaltender, I think you're better off than paying the 90 overall $15 million. Carter George, yes, you have money retained, but right now we're paying this man $4 million. He is an 86 overall, and he is absolutely dominating. 11 shutouts this season, a 916 to 240, but it all comes down to this. It all comes down to the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Stanley Cup Final, because we're going to make it to the final and winning one last Stanley Cup. The Hawaii Tikis already have 2 Stanley Cups. They're looking to win a 3rd. So it's time for the boys to absolutely lock in. I need some of the best hockey we've ever seen from this team. We're exchanging the first 2 games, not really ideal, but luckily we're winning the next 2. And I want to point out it's 2 goals across 2 games. Carter George so far has been the difference maker. And in game number 5, he's going to be showing up yet again, only allowing 2 goals. 4 goals allowed in the last 3 games. That's what I need from him for the rest of the playoffs. I need him to be playing at that elite level, and if he continues to do so, we're going to be Stanley Cup champs sooner than later. I don't know what happened in game number 1. All I know is we won game 2 and we won game 3. I believe we have split the series with the Vegas Golden Knights. Yes, we have. The only games we've lost have been in overtime, and we're not going to lose another game. Never mind, yes we are. The Hawaii Tiki are facing elimination in Game 6. We have a lot of big time performers on this team, but none of them are showing up when it matters. Carter George has been really good this game, but we need some offense to show up. I need somebody to score a goal for me, and is that going to be happening? Yes it is. The bottom 6 is showing up. I believe all of these guys are on our 4th line, except for Zachary Bolduc. He's on the 3rd line, but our bottom 6 showed up when it had to. The top 6 let me down, don't get me wrong, and I won't forget that game, but we shouldn't be relying on the bottom 6. We need our top 6 to carry the way here. Zachary Bolduc in the 4th line, you guys saved the day, but now it's time for our top 6 to shine. Adam Fantilli's picking up the first goal. Lev Shanoff and Nick Suzuki are picking up goals in the 2nd period. In the 3rd, we're going to keep on scoring here. Almost all of these goals came from our top 6, except for this one Schmidt goal. Besides this goal right here, every goal came from the top 6, and then that one Lev Shanoff goal, and I guess that Luke Hughes goal. The top players showed out. That's the moral of the story here. So we were able to take down Vegas, and now there's one team ahead of us. We scored 11 goals in game number 1. We scored 20 goals in the first 2 games. We scored 28 goals in a 4-game series. That has to be the most all time. There is no way anyone has scored more than 28 goals in a 4-game series. We've made to the Stanley Cup Final, and there's one team left, the Columbus Blue Jackets. A handful of years ago, we stole a bunch of medium-league potential players from this team, and we gave them Quentin Byfield. Now it's time for us to match up against them in the postseason. We might be dropping game number 1, but we're taking games 2 and games 4. Game 5 is going to be the most important game, and we're going to steal that one 6-4. Steal game 6, and we're Stanley Cup champions once again. Why am I not surprised? We need game 7. We need game 7 in the final year to cap off this video. It only makes sense. And it only makes sense for the 4th line once again to step up when it matters most. Maybe not, because the top 6 is scoring goals in the first period. And look who the goaltender for Columbus is. It's Sebastian Cossa. The man who won us multiple Stanley Cups is now going to be winning us another, because we're going to be scoring 3 goals on him. Carter George was 46 seconds away from a shutout, but who cares about the shutout if you're winning the Stanley Cup in game 7? And that's exactly what the Hawaii Tiki are doing here. They're Stanley Cup champions once again. Now, the scoring from this team was absolutely insane in the postseason. Look at all the 20-point scorers on this team, but who is our least valuable forward? Like, which one of our forwards scored the least amount of points in the postseason? The man that we drafted 3rd overall back in 2024, the first ever selection from the Hawaii Tiki, was our worst forward. 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. I can't believe 10 years later, the man that we drafted 3rd overall was a complete and utter bust. You can't make that up, but who cares? We're Stanley Cup champions. Carter George, a 16-3-2 record, 1 shutout, a 903 and a 270. We were able to win 3 Stanley Cups over the past 10 years, and I think a majority of that success came in the second half of the video. The first 5 years weren't that notable for Hawaii, but these last 5, this team's been cooking something up. They've been one of the best teams in the entire league. Can I call what we built here a dynasty? Absolutely not. We weren't good enough. We didn't win enough Stanley Cups, but we definitely went on one of those runs that you're not going to forget about.